back to Be Creative Stamping. Today I'm going to share with you how to make this cute little crate. The inspiration came from our new annual catalog, and you'll see it's featured right here. And this is on page 148. This is called the Fruit Stand Suite, and it includes some wonderful fruit stamps right on this side, page 149. And then at the bottom, it also includes the designer paper called Fruit Stand. So we're going to get started so that you can make one too. We're going to start with our Stampin' Trimmer and one sheet of 8.5 inch by 11 inch crumb cake cardstock. And we know that this side right here is 8.5 inches, but we want it to be 8. And so I'm going to slide over here to this 8, and I'm going to put the arm down, and I am going to cut it, okay? And then I'm going to rotate it, and let's see, we're going to cut this at 2.5 inches. And this is going to be the bottom and the sides of our crate. And while I'm at it, I can make more than one crate out of a single sheet of paper. So let's see how many I can get. This is going to be the third one right here. So it looks like I can get 4 of these crates out of one sheet of cardstock. The next thing we're going to want to do is to trim some of these for the sides of the crate. And they're actually going to be 1 inch. So let's see if this is 1 inch. It is right on the dot. And this is what was left over after we finished cutting those 4 crates. Okay, so we've got 1 inch, and we want to go to 4 inches, okay? And we're going to cut it here. And how about that? We've gotten 2 of these sides out of this one sheet of cardstock. You will need to get some more cardstock because you're going to need 4 of these total. And I'll show you where they go. These are the sides that I'm talking about. And so that's why you need 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, once you've cut all 4, you're going to need to score them. And so you're going to put this back on the guide, the 4-inch side, and you're going to want to score at 1/4 inch. And so I'm going to bring my scoring blade, which is the lighter colored blade, and I'm going to put a score line right there, okay? So let me show you that 1/4 inch mark. It's this line right here, or you can measure it right here. So either way, you've got 1/4 inch. And so I'm going to put this one right there. And so now I have my 2 score lines. Now you're going to need to do this for all 4 of them. I almost forgot to show you that you need to score this piece right here, okay? And so you'll take your strip. And remember, we got 4 of these out of one sheet of cardstock, and I was so excited about that I forgot about scoring. So here it is right here. This is the 8-inch side, and we're going to put it along our guide, and we want to score at 2 1/4 inch, okay? I'll slip the trimmer down here. All right, and then we're going to slide it down to 5 3/4, which is right here. All right, and you're going to score again. So those are the 2 score lines that you need. Now we're going to put a little handle in here, and I'm going to show you how to do that. We're actually going to use a Post-it note, and I want this sticky side, so be sure you're using the sticky part of the note. I'm using an older punch. It's called the Word Window Punch. So if you have something similar to this, it will work just fine. You could even use a circle. All right, so got my sticky side. I am going to punch this out right here, okay? Now the back is sticky. And now what I'll do is I'm going to position this until I get it exactly where I want it. Let's see, that looked a little crooked to me, so I'm going to try and straighten it up a bit, okay? So this is where the actual handle will be, all right? Now, I think that looks pretty good, so I'm going to leave it. Pull that Post-it note back out. And I am going to put the word window punch in, and I'm going to punch right there, okay? All right, and at this point, I can actually make a guide. And by the way, this green will come out, okay? So we don't have to worry about that. Now, what I mean by a guide is just taking a scrap piece of paper, okay, and working from the top down. So I can take this piece right here and put it over and punch. So I'm going to show you that now, okay? So here's my little guide. I always tend to make one of these, and then everybody in class can use it. All right, and we are going to punch about right there, and that should take care of that. All right, and we already have these score lines. They are ready to go. Okay, we are now ready to do our stamping, and so we're going to use the hardwood background stamp. This is still available. It's a current stamp set, and you'll find it towards the back of your annual catalog. You're going to also need the crumb cake ink pad, and one other thing, a scrap piece of paper folded in half, okay? Now I'm going to use this background stamp upside down, and I am going to ink it up just like this. And I certainly cannot get the wood grain look on the entire piece, okay? So I'm just going to fold that up. And what I'm going to do is I am going to lay this down and go all the way across. Then I'm going to put scrap paper over it, and I'm going to rub it, okay, so that I can get that image on the cardstock. And so now when we look at it, there it is. So now we're ready to do the other side. So, got to do the other end using crumb cake again. And I see that this part did not come out. And so I'm actually going to try and do that now, okay? So I'm going to put it about right there, okay? About 1/4 inch above that score line. And then I'm just going to rub, okay? And get that impression and see where we are, okay? Now you also need to do the same thing with your 4 smaller pieces. So again, it's the same technique. You're just putting your ink on your background stamp, and we're just going to line this up here, lay it down, and rub, okay? And then we're just going to pick it up, all right? And there we go, and there is the score line. So be sure to do that with all 4 of these strips. Okay, once all 4 of these strips are stamped, you can go ahead and apply some tear and tape right along the score line. So this is the tear and tape that we carry, and this is what I used. Super easy to work with, and you literally just tear it instead of using scissors. So just be aware of that. It's going to go on each end right along that score line, okay? All right, so now we're going to start putting our little crate together. And I like to use my paper snips and just lift up this piece of paper, all right? And I am going to put this right along here, okay? Right along that bottom, just like that, all right? And now I'm ready to do the other side. So again, just peel this off, and I'm going to put it right along this edge, okay? Just like that, all right? So that's your first side. Now you want to go ahead and do the other side. Okay, now that both of the bottom sides are done, we're ready to add the top. So again, we are peeling off the paper. And if you do better with your fingers, then that is great. Alrighty. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this one up at the top, right along the score line, okay? And here we go, right along the top. It just makes it so much easier to line it up. See that? And then this is the last one. Do the same with this one. And I'll show you one more time. You're just going to line this up right along there. And again, right along here. Okay? So now your crate has been created. I'm now going to bring my Stampin' Trimmer back. Let me turn it around this way. We're actually going to work on the very front of the crate. And your designer paper square needs to measure, let's see what it is, 2.5 by 2.5, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to put that point right there along that line. Take this point and put it in that line too, or that groove, okay? That's where you want those points to be. And then you're going to close it and you're going to score very gently because designer paper is thinner and it's easier to cut through. So just very gently do your score line and then you can fold right there, all right? So let's bring in the crate one more time. At this point, we are just about ready to put everything together. So I'm going to look at this. Actually, let's do this. Let's fold this in half, and that will tell us where the center is of this. This is hard to cut on the Stampin' Trimmer because the blade wants to chew this up. So you're going to have to do this one by hand. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of snail and just put it inside there. And then I am just going to lay this right across the top here in the center. All right. So now we have our doily. By the way, these are the brand new doilies in the annual catalog. They have a little bit of a different design and they're a little bit smaller. And they're called Delicate White Doilies and they're 24 per pack. Now we're ready to add our designer paper. And so I'm just going to put some snail on here. And I'm going to let this hang over as well. Just like that. Okay. And now we have another little crate ready to be filled. I found these Georgia Peach mini candles at Bath & Body. And these fit very nicely inside. So you could get 2 of these little guys in here. So that's just another option. Let me show you the first one. In the strawberry sample, I put strawberry Twizzler bits in this little treat bag, the little cello bag with some of our Cucumber Crush ribbon. That's some new ribbon there. And for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill it with some of this crinkled paper. And this crinkled paper actually came from the Dollar Tree. So you get tons of it too. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to stuff some down in here. And this would make a really sweet little gift. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions. Until next time, thanks for buzzing by.